While we're talking of animations, let's talk about another super exciting animation feature, and that is in fact a product here. Let me show you. That is on the DAZ store. It's a little script by the friendly folks from 3D Universe. It's called Spring Dynamics. And that is something that is kind of shrouded in mystery a little bit. Oh, look at that. It happens to be on sale. Wouldn't you know? That's very, very cool. This is a good price to pick this up. I feel it kind of undersells what it does. So with it, you can, in a keyframe animation, it makes things wobble, and not just a whole item, it makes things on a figure wobble. So if you had something like a belly that you want to make jiggle, or if you had ears that you want to make jiggle, or you want to have something like like this guy here. I think the video shows how this guy is being animated entirely with this script with Spring Dynamics. Or you can have something like a zombie that has wobbly arms while he walks. So the effect is literally that from otherwise static motion, this thing will calculate something like this. So that's very, very cool way of how the script makes that happen. And I've always been fascinated by it, and I've bought it a while ago, and I've always been meaning to make a video about it, and I never got the chance. So now is the chance. Spring Dynamics. It's a very, very cool script, and I'll show you how it works and what we can do with it. I haven't got anything prepared, of course, because that's just the kind of guy I am. So first of all, I'll go and load my friend the Toon Mouse, also by 3D Universe. It's a poser figure, so here he is. Love this little guy. There he is, and I'm going to show you how he kind of walks in place from the side. In order for this to work, you need to have a keyframe animation, and I've converted one from Mixamo and turned it into an anti-block. That's available on my animate timeline. I'll just go and bring that in. That's in the mouse walking section. He can do cartwheels, wee hi, and he can do a chilled walk. He can run. So very exciting. I'll say let's start with the chilled walk first. I'll go and drag that in. These anti-blocks I've actually made, but they're converted from Mixamo, so I'm afraid I can't actually share them with you. Otherwise I would totally do that. I'll go and loop this twice, just so that the animation is a little bit longer. And this is now an anti-block, so this is not something that the Spring Dynamics script will understand. We need a keyframe animation for this to work. So I'll go and right click somewhere on the bottom here to turn this into Studio Keyframes. So bake to Studio Keyframes is how this works. And then dialog comes up, says, do you really want to do this? Because it'll override everything. It's all totally terrible, but we're going to say yes, because that's what we need to do. And now we can see a lot of keyframes here on my studio timeline. This now means I don't need my anti-block anymore, so I'll go and remove it. And the only thing I'm going to set up is the last frame of my animation is now here, and my total duration is a little bit longer. So I'll just go and make sure that is the same. I can check that on the other side here, on the left hand side. It says total, and then it says my current position. So that's 84. So I'm going to make my total duration 85. There. I'll just do that so that when I press the play button here, the guy just walks and loops. So that's kind of cool. So currently all the movements are static on him, and what the Spring Dynamics script can bring to the party is that certain aspects of his body can wobble. So I'm going to go and use the tail as a good example. So what you need to do is you need to pick the portion of your model that you'd like to add this effect to. So in my case, it's the tail. So I'm going to go and have to find the tail. It's under hip and under tail. The tail is rigged, so there's a lot of pieces to the tail, 17 of them, I believe. And I'm going to just pick the first one, because the script is clever enough that it will keep following anything that's underneath it, and will also animate that if we want to enable that. So in order to kick that off, I'll go and find it first. I think it's in scripts, is it? No, it's not. It's in utilities on the Smart Content tab, I believe, somewhere. So there it is, Spring Dynamics. And it's just one icon that when you double click it, so with that node selected that you want to animate, and on frame 0 of your animation, also very important, double click it. Takes a second to load. So this graph here will kind of tell you how the motion is going to be created. And as you change values here for strength and intensity, this is also going to change so that you get a visual representation. The default values work pretty well, so I'm going to use the animation range, and I'll leave everything else on there. Include follow is something that will make all the other pieces of the tail participate in the animation. I'm going to leave everything as it is and hit apply effect, and that'll now do its calculation, and that's it. So it didn't actually take all that long. I have to go and exit to preview what it did. So now if I hit play, I can go that the tail has indeed started to wobble, and that is just so cool. Isn't that amazing? So the tail wobbles, and that's awesome, but I can also add other morphs now to the tail. So I need to do all this on frame 0. So with the first part of the tail selected, if I head over to my parameters tab, and on the morph section, I've got something like bend aft and aft side side and all that. So this is how I can now add a bending motion to the tail on top of my jiggling motion. So I didn't do this before. If you do this before, then it'll be kind of wiped out by the effect that the spring dynamics calculates. So if you have any of these types of morphs, make them add them afterwards. So if I do this now and then play back the animation, then the tail still jiggles, but it doesn't quite fall to the ground anymore. So very nice, very nice. And it's all done with one script. It's very cool. I love this script. Let's make his nose, whiskers and ears jiggle just the same way. So this also works if you have, so the ears, for example, they're 2 nodes and they don't have anything following the node, I don't think. If I go and just click the ear, I can see left ear is this, and then I also have the right ear, which is that. And they're just the outside bits here. So I can do this manually, I believe, like this. So it would indeed jiggle, but I can select multiple pieces at a time. So I'm going to go and select the left ear and the right ear by holding down Control. So this is another way that you can animate things with spring dynamics. You just select multiple pieces that you want to animate, even though they're not connected directly. So select them both and double click the script again to start it up. And I'm going to go through some of the settings in a moment, but for now I'm just going to go and say apply effect. It goes and calculates. It takes it literally no time to do this. You say exit and then go watch the ears. The ears now wobble, and it's just so super subtle, but it is that kind of toony effect that would take hours to animate by hand, and it's not going to look as good as something like this would. So I find this absolutely amazing. Oh, the eye target. I think we can hide the eye target, can't we? Let me see if I can stop it and hide the eye target, just so that we can eye target there. Bing. Ah, I see. Eye target. Boom, there. And then also let me go and switch that off so we don't see the manipulator. Yes, absolutely funky. I really like this little guy and just the amount of stuff you can do with it. And if we stick with the ears for a moment, I'll go and show you some of the settings. So whenever you change something on the script, it will remember what you did there. So I'll say the left ear and the right ear. I'm going to select both of them again. Double click to bring up the script again. And for 15 bucks, it's a really, really cool bargain. I think I bought it at full price because I really wanted to find out what it's all about. So the main things are here: the strength, that is the value that makes these things wobble more or less. Then there's the stiffness. I suppose that's the resistance that these things have. So it's kind of the way how they come back and how much they rebounce. And then the damping, I believe that is how much they bounce initially. So basically this here, I believe that is the damping, and then this here is the stiffness. And then the overall amplitude here, that's the strength. This here usually shows you what the values are that you're changing. Oh, there we go. It took a little bit of time for that to show. There we go. So it does calculate this in the background, I think, and then it just shows you the whole change that you're making. So make it smaller, and wait a second, and boom. So it kind of amends the curve. Yeah, that's kind of just a nice visual representation. So if I leave this on, say, 70 and I crank up the stiffness, and I'm probably overdoing it now, but you can see what happens. So the initial bounce is dampened that way. And then the damping itself, I think that is the thing that happens at the end. So if I crank that up, I think it'll just bounce more. No, it bounces less. I see, that's how it works. I'm only familiar with these terminologies from cloth engines. But yeah, when you make a change, it should go and show you the result as a graph. So if we go and exaggerate the whole movement, I'll put that to 100%, and I'll lower the stiffness to as little as I can, so 5%. So that should now make the ears wobble quite a lot. Let's see if it works. And let's see what it actually looks like. Probably a little bit too much. There we go. So yeah, they go really exaggerated. If you need your animation to be a certain length if the calculation goes into the end of the animation. So mine doesn't go beyond 80 frames. So if I wanted to have this ear jiggle really play out to the end, I need to go and increase the length of my animation. You can see the difference there. Very interesting. Let me go and do this with a different value. Play with the damping a bit. So we go and crank the damping up maybe, or turn it down. Turn it down actually. Make the damping really low. And yes, that should look crazy. Let's see what happens. I like how quickly it calculates, but if you have longer animations and a lot of bits and pieces that look at the ears, crazy. If you have a lot of bits and pieces that need to be calculated, then it can take quite a while. So if you make that animation longer now, then he won't walk anymore. But if I make this a total of 165 values now, and I go and let the Spring Dynamics calculate this again, all these frames will be filled in, even though the guy isn't walking anymore. Come on! Don't know why it takes so long to load, but hey. There. So I go and use the same values. I'll just go apply the effect, and you can see how the script is filling out the keyframes at the back there. And so now these ears should just keep doing that, which is kind of crazy. So it's quite freaky the amount of effects you can do with this, and you just play around with the values and have a lot of fun. So that is of course not how you want your mouse ears to look, but you can make it happen. Crazy. I think I'm gonna go and bring this back to 85. 85. And the poor guy, I think his ears, they really need fixing. So I'm gonna go and use the default values again because they work really well. I'm gonna go and add this to his nose as well. Go reset. So if you ever have issues with the values, you've cranked them up too high or too low, you just hit the reset button and then just go apply the effect. Ears are now fixed. That's cool. And let's go and fix the nose as well. So this nose here, come on, where's your nose? I'm sure the nose has, there we go, nose. And the nose itself has left and right whisker. So we can use this follow option again. So all I need to do is click the nose, and it will also make the whiskers wobble. And that's done with this little box that says follow. That's this one here. Include follow. If you disable that, then anything that is parented to the node that you've selected won't be included, I believe. So let's hit apply. Mr. Rel, top of the morning. How are you? We're just talking about spring dynamics. So now his ears wobble. Oh, his ears haven't been fixed. My goodness, we need to fix the ears. Pronto. Yeah, the ears are too strong. But you can see the nose now wobbles. The whiskers, I'm not sure if we can see that, but they do also wobble. They're only made of one piece. If they'd have more rigging in them, they would wobble even better. And we have the tail. That's kind of nice. Yeah, the ears haven't been fixed. I'm not sure what happened with the ears. I thought I'd selected the ears. Let's see if I can make that happen again. Left ear and right ear. Where's right ear? Right ear. Come on. Right ear. Right ear, left ear. There we go. Frame 0 of the animation. Hope we can fix it. What a difference a wobble makes, exactly. And it's just about subtlety as well. And you can use any node on any figure to do this. So it's not dependent on, there we go. That's, no, it still hasn't fixed it. Ah, one of those things. But they're easy again to apply. So that's quite nice. Yeah, I think I was giving too much damping there. Yes, and it's just so subtle, and it just takes you hours to animate this by hand. What I find great about the script is that it doesn't rely on a particular figure to make this happen. It works on any node, so anything, even your own figures. If you just rig, I don't know, a cylinder with 3 pieces, it will work on that. And it works on custom figures like the mouse, it works on Genesis, it works on literally anything. Like things like antennas on cars. If you have a cartoon car that goes and drives around and comes to a halt, then the antenna could just do this. So that works. And of course you can use it on breasts as well if you want to do that, or on a big belly if you want to make that jiggle. That is all possible. Yeah, so that's Spring Dynamics. Brian's posted a link. I've pinned it in the chat. It's currently on sale. Perfect timing, in fact. So go grab it if you're into animation. It really makes a big difference to what you're doing animation-wise. Haha. And this little guy is awesome. Yes, this guy is called the Toon Mouse by 3D Universe. Let me see if I can find that. See if he also is on sale. He's an older product, actually. Toon Mouse. He comes with a piece of cheese. There's a friendly mouse. Toon Mouse, there we go. Yes, he's also 50% off. How exciting. There we go. That's the Toon Mouse. He is just so cool. He's a custom figure, so he's not based on Genesis. He comes in this bundle as well, which is also some 50% off. That's quite nice. He comes with, so he's custom rigged. He has a few expressions. He doesn't have eye ray shaders, but yeah, he's got a piece of cheese. He also has a jacket if you want a jacket. He has this eye target that you can easily adjust eyes with, and he comes with a handful of poses that you can dial in and interpolate between with Puppeteer. Very, very cool. So, you know, while I have him, let me go and get rid of him. I want to know what he looks like when we animate him in the jogging mode. Let's do that. So if you do buy the mouse, and if you want to use the mouse, you don't find him in Smart Content, you find him in the content library, and you don't find him, do you find him in DAZ Studio library? Yes. No, you're not. You find him under poser format. So I haven't found him in my DAZ Studio formats. It's a poser format, and in your library, it's under figures, 3D Universe, Toon Mouse. That is where he's hiding. So let's go and grab him out again. Maybe put his jacket on. There we go. Now he has a jacket. That's nice. And I'll go and apply my other anti-block that I have here, and that's this one was the chilled walk that we just played with. Maybe we'll go cartwheel is a good one. I've mixed and matched them up. You can basically have the running and then do the cartwheel. So I'll go use the running, loop it 2 or 3 times. Does that work? Yes, that works. So that should have a lot more bounce in it. Let's go turn this into keyframes again. So it needs to be a keyframe animation. Bake to Studio Keyframes. Say yes. Then we don't need the anti-block anymore. And the last frame here is still 84. Is that right? No, the current is 78. So the whole play range needs to be 79 then. I don't know why that extra frame is necessary, but you know, it is, so it's fine. I'll go and start with the tail again first. So the first segment of the tail. Let's see if we can do all of these things at once. So there's the tail, there's this ear and that ear, and there's the nose. So let's see. Right ear, nose, left ear, and whoops. Right ear, left ear, nose, and tail. Animate them all. Do you know, I don't think so, Mick. In Install Manager, it'll tell you when there is an update, but I don't think, is there a way to see when it was last updated? I don't think there is. You can kind of, you can see by the item number when it was added to the store, but I haven't found a way to see when it was last updated. I don't think. It's a good question though. I haven't seen that. Eye target. Let's remove that. So okay, let's see what this guy does now when he jogs. Yes, there we go. Everything wobbles, and a lot too. And the tail. I mean, I suppose the tail is now. It kind of lends itself to that. Look at the nose. Add an eye blink anti-block and you have a running mouse. That's cool. And so the tail, right? The tail we can probably add the this tail morph to it. Make it go like that. The other two, if you're interested, is this one, so it can curl left or right. That's rigged as well. And then there's also twist aft, which is basically the whole twisting motion of the tail. So you can add that as well. I think I'm just going to go and bend the tail up a little bit. And that motion still is retained there. Very cool. Don't step on it, little buddy.